You're listening to Off-Road Garage Podcast, and here are Jason and Jim.
And we're live. How you doing, Jay?
What's going on, buddy?
Living the dream. Special guest from a long ways away today.
What? Who we
Pretty
got?
excited. It's James from Ginsberg Fabrication. You there, James?
Yep, I'm here.
Did I say it right?
You got it.
Hot darn.
I'm impressed.
So we've been stalking your Instagram for a little bit, and I'm super glad it's got to happen. I love sand cars, and you make some rad
Yep,
ones.
me too.
Go fast.
You want to give us a little intro into what Ginsberg Fabrication is all about?
Yeah, I started it, I would say 5-6 years ago. Had my own car. Didn't know a thing about. I built hot rods growing up with my dad, and then ended up getting away from dirt bikes because that was just causing too many issues with getting hurt, and I needed to go to work. Got married, so with age comes a cage. So my wife's like, "You got to do something different," which I agreed. And then ended up trading an old Ranger I had for a 1967 Baja Bug, which I knew nothing about. Just looked neat.
Right.
The neighbor, so I traded him. I was like, "Man, I don't know anything about this." He's like, "It's no big deal. You can get this thing going for a couple $1,000 and you'll be good to go to play with." And I was like, "Perfect." And got it home. I think that first week I spent 10 grand on it. So a little above his couple grand to get it going.
Right.
Yeah, rough
And
estimate.
then,
was a little off.
yeah, it was, the numbers were off when you get off road. And then never bent tubing, nothing. Went on YouTube, looked up how to bend tubing. And then me and my dad just went to town and started building the whole thing, and ended up coming out pretty good for our first time ever building anything. I mean, and it got hooked. After that car, we built my dad one, and then we started going out all the time. And then all of a sudden, people are like, "Hey, you guys build cool cars. Could you do like a couple things of mine?" And then one thing led to another, and I started getting like too busy. I'm like, "Man, this is crazy. I should start doing this and charging actual money to
Right.
work on cars." And then I ended up getting my own house not too far from my dad, and bought it with a big like 2,000 square foot setup,
Nice.
and been going busy ever since. And now it's a pretty good little side business for me. I do it on the side, so it's not my full time thing, but it's busy. It pays the bills for the side projects for me, so I can play and be able to afford it. And I just love it. I just love working on cars. It's the dream, and it's turned out to be mine. And
You make it sound so easy.
Right. I just happen to be really good.
Yeah, there's like a lot
YouTube.
of in between things there. Like, all
Right.
the tooling they have to buy. No one tells you got to spend all the money to like buy all this other junk.
Right. Took you
To go
2
along
minutes
with
to
it.
say it, but I'm going to guess it took a lot longer to
Right.
build that dream.
Yeah.
The 5 years
Yeah,
he's been
no.
working on it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, just to keep, and I buy tooling nonstop. Like, I'll
Yeah.
get a job done, and then I try to, every big job I get, go buy one new piece of equipment so I can keep my shop growing. And I try to do as much as I can in house. I have a mill and a lathe. I've got welders, everything. I try to make and fab everything I can
Oh, that's
by
awesome.
hand and by me, and as quality as I can. And I keep trying to better myself with every project.
Well, that's pretty awesome. I mean, the fact that you care and the fact that you're trying, and I'm sure that every job, if I come to you with something, a broken shock mount in my long travel, you might need to buy the tool to make that work, right? I mean, so
Which I do a lot. And,
Right.
I try not to say no to most jobs, and I'll tell people like, "Oh, I'll get it, I'll make it happen," which means me going to buy the tooling, and I may not make money off that job, but I'll have that for the next job. And nowadays with social media, and you can get a bad name so fast.
oh yeah,
Oh.
And
Yeah.
by doing
absolutely.
junky work, and I truly try to treat every customer's car as if I'm working on my own, because I've been there. You get something done, and people can just hack something in there and it'll work. But I mean, it's hard to find somebody quality nowadays, and that's where I was at times. So I'm like, man, I want to do it. I want to treat everybody as I would want to be treated, and do the work that would be on my own car. And that's what I send it out like.
that's awesome. And that's going to keep you going, like you said. I mean, you can do a good job, but treat somebody bad and have a bad name on social media the next morning.
Exactly, and then it's over. It can ruin you quick.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing with me is I tell everybody the truth, and I always answer my phone. That's the people lose so many jobs because they don't answer the phone, or they take on too much work because they're good and they're busy. But now someone's car sits for a year. I mean, I've seen cars in the shop for a year, 2 years sitting, and the guy's already paid. So I try to take on one at a time, finish it, and then I get the next one. If people are willing to wait for me, then I tell them, hey, no problem, you can wait. It'll be 2 months.
Well, that speaks for
and
itself,
I usually
too.
get a good amount of people waiting.
That speaks for itself when you have like a waiting list,
right?
You know what I mean? When I'm like, oh yeah, you can't get into that guy. He's got like a he's got a 6-8 month year waiting list. You're like, oh, then obviously if it's worth waiting that long, then that speaks for itself.
Exactly.
It sounds like you would treat my $1,000 project the same as you would treat Dr. Smith's $10,000 project.
Exactly. And that's one of the things I try to do. Everybody, I don't care. Like I said, this is a hobby for me, so I'm not trying to get every dollar out of everybody out there. I'm just here because I literally love building cars. I love seeing the people's faces when I get something that they're like, I don't know how this is ever going to get finished, and I get to finish it and get to see them light up. Like, I think that's rad. So I'm here to make everybody's experience like good and I send pictures and daily things and everything I do, and it's just that's how I would want it done with me, and that's how I try to do it everybody else. And it's so far, it's worked out great.
How cool would that be, though, to be sitting there like knowing your baby is in somebody's shop and they get an update like, hey, dude, fabricated X today. Here's a photo of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that would be so motivating.
Yeah, that's how I'd want it.
I mean, I agree. That's a lot better than like, all right, it's been 3 months. I haven't heard from this guy. Hey, what's my status? And
working on it.
Oh, yeah, working on it. Whereas opposed, like if I'm spending that kind of money, especially, I want the status report. You know what I mean? Like, and that just motivates me. You know what I mean? I might – people, when you hit me at the end of the day when you're like, we were like $2,000 over budget, I'd be like, oh, okay, totally understand because you've been feeding me the
every
information
day.
The whole time.
Yeah.
Like I know
it's
where
a lot easier when something comes up and you're like, hey, dude, I didn't expect this.
Right.
And this is going to be more than like, oh, yeah, I get it. I've seen every process you've done to get to that point, and I understand why now.
Yeah.
Versus like, not seeing 8 updates and say, hey, we're $2,000 over, and they're like, what? I didn't even know we were even working on the car right now. I thought it was just sitting there.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
More information, the more you talk to people, it's a pretty easy business model. It's just more communication. It works out great.
Right. Let them send you the text like, enough. I get it. You're working on it. It's cool.
And he does answer the phone.
I don't need so many pictures. It's good. My wife's going to kill me.
He answers the phone for 2 Yahoos from Michigan, so he'll answer the phone for you.
I'll answer to anybody then.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So where's your favorite? I mean, you guys are kind of out there in the sand capital. Where's your favorite dunes? You got a favorite spot to go?
I'm not the biggest dune. I do more desert.
Okay.
I work on a lot of dune cars. We have Klamath like 6-7 hours away, which is just the biggest dune place you can go to.
Right.
So I'm more of the desert scene. So me and my group, we always stay like around Red Rock, and we go up into the Dove Springs area over there, and then we go up into like Lone Pine and do all that. So I'm a big desert guy. I love being able to go. Like, the dunes are great, and you got to go through all the dunes, and it's cool to see all that, but it's rad to be able to take a trail and to go see something like that. We're going to go to this stream that's over here in Lone Pine, or we're going to go from the desert down in Red Rock, and you can take all the way up into the Paiute Mountains and head up into the trees, and now you're in the forest. I just love seeing destinations. I like to go somewhere and see something.
It's like Sandcar Overland.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly. It's a Sandcar overlanding. I'm even thinking about getting a rooftop tent to keep up with you guys.
There you go.
I think you should. I think you should. You might be the innovator there.
We're in the Midwest.
I know, yeah. We're already looking at doing it for my rack. I told my wife the other day, because the kids, I'm like, man, we should get the rooftop tent and we start taking this 450 horsepower long travel car overlanding.
Yes.
It's so rad.
I fully support that.
So we're from the Midwest, right? So guys out here don't maybe not know the difference. What is the difference between? I mean, the dunes are the sand dunes, right? Like Silver Lake, or for us, it's just a big play box.
Yeah, literally a giant.
What's the desert consist of? Is it like Baja type stuff, like you'd see on like the trophy
trucks? It's a
trucks?
lot like Baja. It's more just gravel and dirt, more of the hard pack. It's very hard pack stuff. It's a lot rougher on your equipment versus the sand's a lot just smoother, just floating through there. Like, a lot of sand cars are built for lightweight and to just float over the dunes.
Okay.
So, like, my car, the new car I'm building, is built to do hardcore desert stuff. So most dune cars are 2,500 around there pounds, and my car will be around 4,000 to 4,500 pounds.
Okay.
It's just built like an absolute tank to get smashed through the hard pack and the big whoops of the desert. and to be able to do that and come all the way back.
What kind of speed are we talking when you go ripping through the desert like that?
It depends on the group you're going with. I mean, an average speed for us is 55, 60 miles an hour, which is flying when you're going through 4-foot whoops and tiny little trails at times. And then we'll get up to sections where, like my new car, we'll do 130.
130.
So you can get up into some areas and really let her open up and go. That's rare, and especially if the wife and kids are in there, which I figure is a money saver when they're in there because I only get like quarter throttle. So that's great for me because I won't break stuff.
Right, and at that speed, you can't hear the complaining or the screaming, so throttle down.
Yeah, well, I have a full intercom system, so I gotta listen to everybody.
Just unplug his.
Occasionally, it gets a little interrupted, some static.
Yeah, I got the kids in the back saying, Dad. I'm like, it's okay, we're good.
That sounds super rad. It sounds like something Sean would be into because Sean rips our 2-tracks up here.
Our buddy Sean just goes full out.
Yeah, full bore and the 2-track. I can only imagine if he had the opportunity to hit 4,500 pounds with 450 horsepower.
I don't know that I want that. That sounds amazing.
I mean, I sort of do.
And a horrible, irresponsible.
Because you're talking,
it's a blast.
You're talking open wheel car, right?
Yeah.
So like, I can see the front wheels. Like for some reason, I got the biggest kick out of.
Probably the coolest thing about these cars is sitting in that seat and that wheel when you're going through the whip, and you can see that tire coming up above your head and all the way down. I think that's probably the coolest thing about an open wheel car.
How do you pay attention to the actual trail? Because I'd be so hooked on watching. Like, I love watching the geometry and all the suspension work, and I'm like, I just want to sit in the passenger seat so I can stare at the suspension.
Well, remember that video we shared? It was like a pro truck, right, in the desert, and the GoPro was in the tailgate. And you could just see the suspension doing its thing, the tires skipping. Right. I watched it for like 3 days straight.
It's amazing. It's something else to see.
Especially considering you're like, I don't know, for you to sit there doing it at 40 mile an hour through the whoops, going, I made this.
Yeah.
This is rad.
That's the thing, awesome. Is this was built by me in a garage. Every part of the thing is held on by, well, I sure hope I wasn't rushing that day.
Right.
And that's another thing when I'm building somebody's car is I got to remember that it's not like it's like, going to come out of someone's garage, cruise down the street, go to a car show, and come home. I'm building something, a guy's going to come out of his garage and go, I'm going to see how fast I can smash this thing into things that shouldn't hit and come back. So I've got to build stuff that's like...
Absolutely.
I mean, sometimes I'll be building a part, and there's been multiple times I'll build it, be done, and on the car, done. Painted, I'm like, man, nope, coming off. Like, I went to bed that night thinking about it, and I'm like, man, I think I designed something way better right now. I'm going to cut that off tomorrow and redo it.
Oh,
you just want
you
it to be
sleep
safe and strong. Not a lot. I don't know. I'm like my dad, and when I go to sleep, I'll like have projects in my head, and I can usually dream up what I need to do all night, and the next day I'm like, got it, it's all figured out. I dreamed it and built it last night in my dream. I'm ready to build it today.
If you could figure out how to sell that, like,
I know.
Teach people how to do that. That'd be pretty rad. Just complete the stuff in my dream.
Or if I could get myself to do it while I was actually sleeping and actually build it for real, then I could just wake up and it's already built.
Utilize some time.
I'm sure the wife would be pissed with the welder going off in the bedroom.
yeah.
I can see that though. No, it was very similar when I was doing your TJ. I was like the same thing. I'm like thinking, all right, what can I do? How can I fix that? Like,
right.
There's a lot of sleepless nights.
Well, because I remember getting texts, because I work midnights, so I remember getting texts from you at like 3 o'clock in the morning when you should be in bed. Like, hey, dude, what if I triangulate this? Dude, go to sleep. I can only imagine.
I think I'm going to do this to your frame. What?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, go to bed.
Yeah. 2 o'clock in the morning.
I like how he did it. He would just cut stuff off, and when you came home, it was already off the car. Like, we're doing this now. I'm like, man, I like the way he rolls.
It's awesome building stuff with other people's money. It's my favorite
thing.
It's
so much more fun spending other people's money. It's way better that way.
Yeah, when I went down with the flu.
With the buddy.
Yeah, I went down with the flu, and he came over one day after the flu, and he was like, "Oh, I did all this. You owe me whatever, $400 in parts." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
No, thank you.
Yeah,
but it's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be cool though.
Yeah,
way
it's gonna work.
Yeah, it worked well.
It did. Well, that was the best part is when you like you said, you see their face or you see that, and you're like, "Yeah, I did that," and look how happy he is. Like, that's like happy multiplier.
Well, watching how happy you were when I beat that control arm into rocks, and you're like, I built that. I can only imagine if it was doing 50 through the desert.
Oh, God. That's a dream. That's a dream. I'm totally down for that.
Oh, you'll get hooked fast. It's addicting. It's expensive, addicting habit.
So I'm stalking your page as we're talking here. There's a new buggy chassis. It's a black buggy. It's got like a rooftop rack on it. It looks almost like a pickup truck bed in the rear. Is that your new build for yourself?
The one I just posted with the spare tire on the back? Is it just recently? I just posted my new car. Well, yeah, the one I just posted a couple days ago is mine.
So one got posted July 7th.
It's got like the flat. It's got the LS in the back and everything.
Yep.
Oh. Yep, that's the new car.
I love the cage, the rooftop rack on. I mean, you're basically overlanding as it is. And you already got the cage.
We do kind of like, I guess it's overland. Like I'll do called the Mojave Road.
Okay, I've heard of it.
We'll do that one every year. I wasn't able to go this year because I sold the Baja Bug and now building a new car. But usually we'll start in Barstow and we drive all the way up into Needles and we stay at the RV Casino and then we do the trail from there. And it's all the way around with, including the highway driving all the dirt, about 500 miles.
Okay.
And we camp out of the cars for 2 nights. So we bring everything you need to be out in the middle of the desert for 2 nights out in the cars. So we'll bring tents, everything. So, I mean, I guess that's pretty much overlanding, right?
Just high speed.
Basically.
So just we get there quicker.
So somehow you pack everything you need for 2 nights in the desert in this thing.
This cage.
This one I haven't done yet. This one's got plenty of room. I'll have, like, showers and everything. This one, I had everything in a little Baja Bug and a roof rack. That was it.
What?
Enough for 2 days. In a Baja Bug with a roof rack, and we go out there in the middle of the desert for 2 days.
So this is going to be a 4-seater, right? The one you're building right now?
This one's a 4-seater, so then I can start bringing the wife and kids with me, and they'll have a lot more room and more fun.
See, hang up the phone, dude. I want one of these now, and this is going to cause me a rift at the house.
What are you going to do with it? That's the problem.
Dude, I-75 north at 130 mile an hour. Get there in an hour. Who's going to stop you?
Well, I guess our roads here are basically like hard-packed desert. So
yeah,
maybe.
You can take it anywhere.
Yeah, we probably need like 30 inches of wheel travel to go that speed.
But think about like all the fire trails by Grayling and stuff where the tanks play.
Oh, yeah.
Just be hucking this thing through the tank area.
That's what I'm talking about. The tank track would be legit.
Yeah.
I might just have to bring mine up to you guys, and we'll go play up there.
Okay.
All right, yeah, game. We'll swap.
Right.
And the good thing is it won't smell like 4 dudes. Because it's open air. It won't stink like your truck did on the way to Moab.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. We definitely do have some trails where you could. Well, I used to do high speed stuff with a 4-wheeler, so I guess it's just a little wider. I mean, the side by sides are basically taken over here.
Yeah,
and
they're taking over everywhere. Yeah, they're out here too. Which a lot of people are against the whole side by side thing, but I'm like, hey, more people in the desert, keep it open. So come on out.
Yeah.
So the only problem we're having here is we've got, and I'm sure you guys do. I know you guys have the green sticker stuff. You guys got a bunch of emission type stuff out there. So we have.
Oh, it's a joke out here in California for emissions.
We have trails rated by size, so it's like 24-inch wide, 50-inch wide, and then full size.
Oh wow!
So we've got dudes that are trying to wedge, 62-inch wide long travel razors down quad tracks, and that's what's messing it up for us.
Yeah, I can see that being a problem.
Or like there's a lot of what's called MCCT, which is single track, like dirt bike trails, and you'll see the entrance of it with a set of side-by-side tracks that went in too far and didn't realize it was MCCT trail.
Right, and found the pine trees that are not razor width apart.
But like you said, I mean, I've got a buddy who's got 2 kids and a wife, and he would have had to buy 4 quads. He bought one razor, and he's got the whole family in the woods. They love it. They go to the dunes all the time. So for him, the razor's a great way to get into the woods without having to build something like you're building. He's not a welder. He's not a fabricator.
Oh, no, the razors are where it's at. To be able to buy something, take it home, go buy a couple add-on parts you want, and just absolutely fly through the desert and have 4-wheel drive, they're pretty rad.
Right.
Yeah.
Because most of your stuff, too, right?
It's the way to go. I mean, I probably would have bought one but I'm trying to, like, show off my business and say, hey, look, I can build this big fancy.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I would much rather have the suspension you have because I can't watch the suspension on a razor.
Right.
But I want to watch all that arm move.
Well, I'm just thinking about it.
It's nice having a big, easy car. And then plus my car, I can have one of those moments where you have an oh crap moment and then come back to the fire and go, man, that was crazy. Yeah. And some of the razors, you might have that moment and go, man, look at the A-arm in my hand. That's a campfire.
Right.
Right. Plus, you got that V8 letting it scream.
Yeah, you can't beat the sound of that. I mean, I don't care if it's just sit there idling. That just makes you smile. You can have the worst day. Go down and start that thing, and you're good.
You're good. Your neighbors are hating you, but you're good.
Yeah, no, the neighbors aren't the biggest fans of me.
And can always...
But I fix their stuff too, so they're happy.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess it helps if like everybody in your circle is kind of into it.
It does. It makes it a lot easier.
And being that you're that close to Pismo, or is it? I'm sorry, Glamis or Pismo you're by?
Glamis, and Pismo's only about 3 hours from my house too.
Which for California people is a daily commute.
Yeah. So if you're there, you're pretty much into the life.
3 hours. Yeah, I was driving 200 miles a day for a couple years for work. So I'm like, that's no big deal. Let's go.
Right. That's so rad, dude. And it's like I've always wanted. I don't know why I've always wanted like a sand car, but all we have out here is Silver Lake.
And there's some pretty extreme sand cars there.
I'd love to see Silver Lake too, because it seems pretty rad. I see a lot of guys that talk about it, and I heard it's small, but it just seems so cool, that place. There's just something different about Silver Lake. It just seems like I'd love to go see that.
The cool thing about it that I think, at least for me, is it's almost like a community. Like you get out there, it's probably like being in the desert. I mean, everybody's about that life. They're there for dirt bikes or side-by-sides or buggies or quads.
Yeah.
And you go hang out all day. I mean, there's a food truck on the dunes now. So you can actually ride up to the food truck.
That's rad.
Get a bite to eat, hang out, watch people get stupid.
You got the whole beach.
Yeah, there's a beach right there.
Yeah, and there's a beach. I mean, how much better is that?
It's a great time.
That's pretty rad to me.
And it's fresh water, and there's nothing in there that will bite
and
or kill you.
Water.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's pretty rad, especially for families and stuff to be able to go and to ride and then stop and let the kids play. Like you can't get that's a pretty rad place.
So like when I go now, I bring I don't have a sand car. I would bring it for sure if I had something for the sand. Is that the appropriate term, by the way? Is it sand car or dune buggy? What's preferred now? Or is there a difference?
I mean, if it's just like a sand car, yeah, if you're going to sand, like on mine, it's more of I call it a buggy.
Okay.
I mean, it's hard to tell people what I have. Like, hey, what do you have? I'm like, I have a buggy. They're like, oh, that's cool. They like that old VW thing with like an inch and a half of travel and just bounces down the road. And it's like, no, it's got like 25 inches of travel and over 400 horsepower. It's a little different than the buggy, but there's like not what's so. I mean, you could say, oh, it's a 4-seat Class 1 car, and everybody's like, I still know what that is.
Right. Yours in the photos looks like something that would get airdropped in Afghanistan and filled full of SEALs.
Like a machine gun on the roof.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I saw it. Like that's one of the SEAL assault vehicles from the 90s. That's what that is.
Yeah.
How much metal I have in it? It should be. Yeah, it's a tank.
Right.
Some mole panels, and some M16 miles or whatever in there. Yeah, dropping in everything. SEAL Team 6 doing a rapid assault.
So I grew up in the off-road world in a way, like 3-wheelers and 4-wheelers, and my uncle had a VW buggy, but it was the VW motor on a tube chassis.
Right. That's that's the Michigan dune buggy.
And like you said, it was like 6 inches of travel in the front, maybe 9 in the rear.
Yeah.
With those Desert Dog, the Z-Track tires on it.
Oh,
yeah. You know?
Oh, yeah.
That's
and that's what we would rip down the fire roads with. And that's kind of my first experience to the buggy world. Then I go to Silver Lake and I see a dude in a $100,000 LS1 powered 25-inch travel hucking this thing, and I'm like, that's a buggy.
Yeah.
That's
what
a different style buggy.
Yeah.
That's a whole other category of a buggy. Yeah, that's what I wanted to build. I'm like, I want that.
Right. And you got, because out here they do the wheelies. I'm sure they do it out by you too, like wheelies up and down the hills. And,
if you don't wheelie, you're not cool when you go to Glamis.
Right. And then cutting brakes and coming back down the face of the dune. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yep.
I saw one.
Oh, you got to have the turning brakes. Those are the best thing ever. I just put those in mine.
One time. I was just going to say, I'm pretty sure the thing was powered by some helicopter, like a Huey engine or something. Because that's what it sounded like. And it just stood up, and the guy went up the hill, turned, came down, turned, went back up the hill, turned. Front tires never touched the ground.
Right.
Nope.
It literally sounded like a jet engine.
Power right there.
But
I'm like, I don't know what that is, but it sounds amazing.
But talking to James, right, that sounds like it's probably pretty fragile. Like he couldn't huck that through the desert at 100 miles an hour.
No, it was a regular, like you said, the mission, like it had the VW front end on it.
Right.
He just
some of these guys that go to Glamis, these guys have some $300,000-$400,000 cars that go out there, and those guys can't. You can do whatever you want with one of those guys' cars, but that's half a price. That's the price of the house.
Right.
So when you got cars like that, and they have a couple thousand horsepower, wheelie, jump, everything. There are a few of those guys out there. So Glamis is just a big pot of who's got the biggest and baddest car, and they're a whole other category out there.
Yeah.
That's why the desert's a little more low key than Glamis. Glamis is just as fast as you can go, and it's a whole other lifestyle. And there's nothing wrong with it. probably going to take my new car when I get it done to go out there and go play because I'd love to go play out in the sand and see how the thing will do. But, like, my car is all cool and fast in the desert. I go to the sand, 400 horsepower, that's like, oh, that's it? That's cute.
Right.
When they got 1,800 horsepower.
Right.
That's insanity.
But you'll still be able to huck it because you got 30 inches of travel. I mean, you'll still be able to...
I'll be able to launch the thing off a dune and at least be able to show off then.
Yeah,
right.
I think you'd be...
No wheelies for me.
I think you'd have all the fun at Silver Lake.
Right.
You'd probably be like on point. You'd be one of the topper echelon. I'd go out on a limb.
Yeah, I'd love to come out there and go chase Nate around in his truck.
Yeah, that sounds like a very similar.
Sounds good.
Yeah, because it sounds like with what he's got built, what James is building, he could do all the big stuff that we have.
Yeah.
Plus, get back into that hard pack in the back by the lake and really huck it and really get after it for speed and show people what's what, versus just being good at one thing.
Yeah, because a lot of our 2-track trails up there are sand and. Yeah, I mean,
fire roads. Yeah.
Right. I think you'd be at home there.
See, now I want to.
Yeah, I definitely got to come up there one of these days and try that place out. I'd love to.
And I think that showdown would be great.
Well, you come out this way. We'll hook you up with a place to stay somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm in. I know.
I want to see the showdown, Nate versus James.
Ooh, big air.
Big air showdown.
It would be a blast.
Off-road
He's
garage
got
podcast.
way more time under his belt with his truck. I got to get some more time in my seat. he launches that truck. That dude, he's a rad guy. I'd love to meet him in person one of these days. I talked to him online. Love to go up and see his truck. I love that year truck too. I've had 2 of those growing up, and out of 4-wheel drive one, always wanted a long travel one. He's done it. He's done it right.
And the cool thing is, like, if you've seen it, you sound like you talked to him online. If you go up to him on the dunes, you're like, "Hey, dude, this truck is rad." He'll be like, "Get in."
and that's the cool thing. And I've listened to him and on his podcast when he was with you guys. It's the cool thing to take people and something that they've never been in like that, or his truck, or something like what I've got. It's the most fun watching someone light up and go, "Oh my gosh!" Or watch them cringe when you come up to something and then it just like lands like a pillow. They're like, it's insane.
Well, because
it's
not natural.
It's not. You would not expect a big vehicle to do that.
Right.
Yeah, when his best videos are the in-car YouTube of the passenger.
Oh, yes.
He just took that guy recently. I saw a video, and that guy's face was amazing.
Yeah.
He did a 2019 montage of all the people he took out, and it was awesome. You know, it went from elation to terror.
We got to get out there. We're doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys got to take the Jeeps out there. At least go watch.
Well, we'll go out there in the Jeeps, but we actually talked to him recently about coming out and shooting some photos of his truck just to hang out with him for a little bit and see what it does.
Yeah. Have you guys been in his truck yet?
No.
Oh, dude, you got to get out there. You're close, too. You got to go do that.
Yeah, it's 2.5 hours for us. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
That's not too bad to go driving pretty much a little trophy truck. And yeah, not bad.
And it's something that the wife likes, so I can bring her and make it a weekend, you know.
I just,
and then it's easy.
Right.
I'm hesitant as to how much I'm going to like it.
That's the problem. It may cost you a whole lot of money.
First hit's free, brother. First hit's free.
First hit's always free. That's what I'm worried about.
The first one's always free.
Yeah.
After that,
no, it's fine. No, it'll be fun, dude. You'll like it. It'll be cool.
Well, maybe we can.
All right. You won't get addicted.
Both set direct deposits up right to James, and he can just build us a car. When it's done, we'll go pick it up.
I'm in. Let's do it. We can come down to California and go for a ride.
We get a discount.
15 years when we get this truck built at $25 a month.
Oh, get this truck on layaway.
Can you imagine the pictures here? I bought this piece of Dom this week for you guys.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm sending you one 10-foot stick of DOM. If you could, make that a thing.
Yeah.
Send me a
We'll
picture.
just keep hanging your bill on the wall and so you're going to see like it's up end in it.
Right.
Maybe.
Now I want to look at sand cars when I get off. You know how it is. I'm going to go home and Google sand cars all night and do
you are. Yeah, you are.
All night long.
You're going to start getting addicted to that too. Like, man, I can. And that's the way to do it. Buy one already done. Someone already wasted all their money and was like, I can't finish this thing.
You could buy you could buy like the Volkswagen version for a couple grand around here.
Well,
there's always one for sale.
I've always wanted a Baja Bug because they can close the doors and you can drive it basically all year.
Mm-hmm.
That was the best thing about mine. That's the biggest thing that I missed is I had heated seats, a heater, close the doors. No matter if it's snowing out and you're just nice and warm in there and no wind chill. So, yeah, that's a big plus about Baja Bugs. They are the greatest. But fitting 4 seats in there was just not happening.
Right, so it's me, the wife, the cooler, and the dog. That's my concerns.
Dude, Baja Bugs for you.
Yeah.
Dude.
Drape it in cases.
And a V8 in it, though. We got to put an LS in it, though.
I agree.
You sound like Tim now.
I fully support that.
You sound like Tim Ryan.
There you go.
He would agree.
LS swap all the things.
He's going to message us as soon as he hears this. I'm like, I totally agree. I totally support this decision.
Matter of fact, I've got a block laying around.
Perfect. That's all I need. I need a mock-up block and some tubing. I'll build you a LS-powered Bob.
Perfect. I like it.
Just all the money.
I hope the wife didn't see this one. She'd be like, "Hey, where'd the vacation fund go? What we must have been hacked, babe."
We're going to the
desert.
It went somewhere. We're gonna go drive our vacation in the desert. Yeah. Wait, what?
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be.
You're getting
awesome.
a Baja bug.
I got her some pink Oakleys last time we were at the dunes, so at least she's got that going for her.
Then she'll be fine.
We're halfway there.
It seems
there you
fair
go.
to me. Keeps the sand out of your eyes. You'll be fine.
So, is there anything you want to touch on that we missed? Because I think we opened up an entire different world that we weren't even clear on as far as the intricacies of desert driving. Is there anything that we missed as far as Midwest dudes?
No, I think you've got. I mean, that's the cool thing is I love seeing how other people do stuff and how we do stuff. It's just that's what's so cool about the off-road community. No matter what you do or where you're from, it's just everybody's into it, and it's just it's a good group of people no matter where you go. And that's what I love about this whole thing is you can just find somebody and you can just talk like we are, and have nothing in common other than we love to off-road and can talk for an hour.
Right.
And it's awesome.
Is there a group out there that anybody needs to be aware of that like helps? Like we have Great Lakes 4-wheel drive out here that helps keep our stuff open. Is there anybody that helps fight to keep the dunes open or the deserts?
We have Corva, which I'm a lifetime member of Corva, and they help with all that too, keeping the desert open, and they're a big group of people that help keep everything getting closed down. Because even since I was a kid to now, you can still see stuff getting smaller and smaller, and you got to support those groups that can keep that open for us. And that's why I always say, like, let as many people come out, let them buy the razors. Who cares if it makes the dirt choppier? The more people are out there, the more time we have keeping this place open and enjoy it with our families.
What is Forva? Yeah. Is it Friends of Rad Off-Road Vehicles?
Go
with that.
Look at the name. Yes, I like that. As a lifetime member, I should probably know what it all stands for.
Yeah, I'm sorry to put you on the spot and make you feel
awesome.
silly.
Yeah.
I like the way you said it.
Was there in the pre-note?
Right.
Yes, sure. What did you say? Friends of
Rad Off-Road Vehicles. FORV. Oh, there's probably an A association.
It's Corva with a C.
Oh, Corva.
Corva. So you got to change. Now you got to come up with something new.
California Off-Road Vehicle Association.
There you go. I like that's probably it too. Actually.
Is off-road one word? Then it's off-road rad.
Off-road rad. Yeah,
it's something like that. It's one of those. Either way, it's
like
awesome. Sounds supportive.
Just Google www.corva.
And
awesomeness. And you'll be able to donate and they can help support everything.
Very cool. Very cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm stoked.
God dang.
Well, I appreciate you guys reaching out to me. It's awesome talking to you guys. I love the podcast.
Thanks for answering.
Really appreciate it. Yeah, it was awesome.
This is very cool. Hurts my pocketbook.
I really like talking to different areas. You know, we've talked to some East Coast, West Coast. Like, it's all over, and I love it all.
Well,
and I want to do it all.
Like you said, it opens up. Like, I never would have thought of. Like, I think a dune buggy or buggy, I see it in the sand dunes.
I think Glamis or Silver Lake.
I don't think, like, hucking through cactuses and rocks at 50.
Yep.
Yeah, and I even think
changes everything.
Talking about Nate, I even kind of thought about the same kind of thing. It was like, hucking in Silver Lake or Glamis or some. I mean, he touched on some desert stuff, but I guess just besides what we've seen of like the Baja 1000 race, which doesn't seem to do it justice apparently.
Well, especially like for me, the Baja is like what NFL is to Pop Warner. Like I can play football, I get the gist of it.
I can throw a ball.
When you see the guys at Baja that have more than both of our houses into their truck.
Oh, and that's a whole nother category. Those guys, that's a whole nother world.
Right.
Yeah,
that's $1 million truck.
Oh,
right.
Which I want.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, I want. See, now I'm on your boat. I want one of those too.
That's like my win the lottery buy. Like, what'd you buy it?
First thing I get. Yeah, I'm buying me a 4-wheel drive trophy truck.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to go
who
play.
Doesn't want a 4-wheel drive trophy truck? I feel like you can do everything with it.
There's a question. Are most of your friends and family and wheelers, are they all 2-wheel drive?
Pretty much. I mean, we got a few racers in the group that are 4-wheel drive, but primarily everybody's 2-wheel drive cars. I mean, most of the guys, a lot of guys have Baja books. We got a couple Manxes, and pretty much 2-wheel drive. But it's amazing where you can go with a rear engine, rear drive car.
Right.
They will. You go up a lot of 4-wheel drive trails. We've passed Jeep front trails, and they're just like, dude, you guys know where you're at? There's like this little crazy area coming up, and we'll go up there and pass them up on the trail. They're like, that's insane. That's the coolest thing. We just made it. And it's just tractions on the back and
traction on the back and 25 inches.
Lightweight on the front.
Yeah.
And and I can hit things like real fast, and that helps me a lot.
Right. You got momentum on your side.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to keep moving. If I keep moving, look out. I'm going to go. I'll make it get up there somehow.
It's just stuff I never, like, it just boggles my mind. Cause I'm all like, floor low and slow, air down. He's like, no, I'll just bump it. Bump it.
His bump it is at 50 miles an hour. You bump it. Your bump it's like, I got to back up 3 feet and hit it. His is like, I'm coming from a mile back.
Yeah, I'm coming back with some speed. I'm going to get up those rocks.
Right.
Well, we could probably book a trip now because airfare is still cheap.
It is,
yeah. I don't know that they recommend flying.
$400 to Cali, probably.
Your week vacation is going to turn into 3 weeks when you have the 2-week
quarantine.
Yeah, when you come back.
It'll probably be more. I have to quarantine there, too.
Yeah, 14 days there.
Oh.
So this is a month.
I go quarantine in the shop.
Right.
Looking at cool buggy parts.
I got plenty of work for you guys. You can guys come down and quarantine in my shop. No problem.
You don't want me working on anything.
If you put me to work, I'm liable to just
stay.
Tell the wife, like, hey, I'm living here now, so
that's
up to you.
I can use a partner. Let's do it.
Forward the mail.
Forward the mail. Let me know what I owe you.
And it could be Triple J Fabrication. Jason, Jim, and James.
Look at that. And we already got a new name.
Look at that. We're all set.
Started.
We're getting working on that. We got all the genres down. We got East Coast, West Coast. We got this down. We knew it all.
I did not know I was going to make a phone call and get a whole 2 new business partners, so I'm in.
Dang. That's how this stuff works, my friend.
Networking 101, boys and girls.
It all comes together.
Well, I really appreciate you answering the phone call, man.
Yeah,
that was rad.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm glad you guys called.
Yeah, this will be a good one, I think. I think we'll get some serious people looking at your page. Oh, where do they find you?
It's Ginsberg Fabrication on Instagram. That's basically where I do everything.
We will tag you so people don't worry about how to spell Ginsberg.
Perfect. Yeah, it's hard to spell. Tag me on there and let them come check it out.
For sure.
See what I got going on.
Well, thanks for coming out, man. We appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Good talking to you.
Yeah, I think that's a wrap.
All right, guys.
Well, blow it up.